Alright, so before we start, I just want to say that this video is only going to have two tiers. There's going to be the ones that are the best of the best, the good ones, and there's going to be the ones that are the mid tier, basically the ones that are good, but they're not as good as the ones on the top. Now, why am I doing this? Because I feel like every single ability in this game is good in its own way. You just have to have the right build, equip the right equipment, have the right augments, and you will be able to play good with any ability, whether it's PvE or PvP. But obviously there's going to be the ones that are better than others. That's why I have two tiers, to put all the good ones in one tier and then all the mid ones in one tier. Okay, alright, so the first is going to be Power Bunker. Now, Power Bunker did get some good buffs and a lot of balances done to it. It did get some damage increase and other stuff that just would balance it, but in my opinion, I think Power Bunker is going to be one of the best ones for PvP. Honestly, a lot of these Gen 1s, because they're really close range, they're just really good for doing a lot of consistent combos. You're gonna see it in every Gen 1 I'm gonna showcase. Everybody at PvP that has a Gen 1, they do some really good combos. So Power Bunker is definitely gonna be one of the tops. Anybody at PvP Power Bunker, they always do really good, you know what I'm saying? But for PvE though, I don't think it's one of the top ones. A lot of these Gen 1s, as good as they are with PvP, they're not really good for PvE. Now, what are we looking for PvE? We're looking for moves that have AoE moves and have range, and a lot of these Gen 1s don't have range or AoE moves. Maybe gun or maybe rifle, as we're gonna see later on, but abilities like Power Bunker really don't have any AoE or range, so they're really not that good for PvE. You can't use it for PvE though, all right? Don't think you can't use it, but it's just gonna go bottom tier when it comes to PvE. Next is going to be Mizu. Now, Mizu is also going to be, Mizu is going to go bottom for me for PvP. I honestly don't think Mizu is that good. Some people might think it's good. I've seen some people use it, but honestly I don't think it's really that good. All right, a lot of the moves are easy to evade. This one right here is easy to evade. This one most especially is very easy to evade, and I don't think Mizu has a lot of consistent combos. It has a lot of windups too, so it's gonna go bottom for PvP and bottom for PvE in my opinion. Now, the patch, they did increase some windups and increase some hitbox and stuff like that, but I honestly think Mizu is really not top tier in my opinion among the Gen 1s. It's good, but it's not among the best ones. Alright, so for Katana, I'm just gonna put Katana top tier for PvP. Honestly, I think Katana is really good. A lot of people I've seen with Katana are able to just do some crazy damage. I don't know if it's just me, maybe my build doesn't have enough health and stuff like that, but the people I see with Katana are able to do really good one-shot combos. Now, Katana can be evaded. I've PvP'd some people with Katana and I was able to evade a lot of moves and cook them, but I think Katana should be up there, just mainly because of DPS and how well it is in the close combat and stuff like that. But I will put Katana in the lower top tiers, or the lower bests. It's good, but it's good to be among the best ones, but I don't think it's that's the top best ones. And for PvE, I'm also gonna put this in the bottom tier. I'm gonna put this in bottom tier. Like I said, a lot of the Gen 1s are not really good for PvE. They're not bad, but they're not just good for PvE. So it's gonna go bottom for PvE. Next is going to be Axe Gun. Now, this Axe Gun, I'm just gonna say it up straight, I really don't have much information on this. I really don't see anybody use Axe Gun. I've been PvPing for 3 days straight right now, and I've not seen anybody use Axe Gun at all. I don't know if it's because the moves have too much wind up or it's just really hard to use. If you use Axe Gun, put down in the comments what tier it should be. What do you think it should be? Part of the mids, or what do you think it should be part of the tops? But this one, I'm just gonna put it in the mids, mainly because I don't have much information on it and I don't really see a lot of people use it. And also for PvE too, I'm also gonna put this in the mid tier because, like I said, as you can see, a lot of close combat, not really good for fighting multiple targets, doesn't have any AoE and doesn't have any range. Alright, so for Light Fist, I'm easily just gonna put this top. I know they dropped a couple of patches on it. They increased Palm Strike's knockback and reduced the hitbox of Palm Strike, but I still think it's good. Honestly, it has a really consistent combo. For example, you could do the M2, which is a combo extender, by the way. You can do the M2 into Palm Strike, and then when you knock them back, sorry, you can, all right, do the empty into roundhouse. That's 2 combo extenders already. And then you could easily do palm strike and then follow it with light chop. That's a really good combo right there. I don't know how many of it is true. I think maybe the M2 to the roundhouse is probably true, but I don't really think the palm strike into light chop is actually true. But you can definitely hit it if you're good enough and you know what you're doing. So life is definitely gonna go top for PvP, and for PvE it's gonna go mid. Like I said, I already explained why a lot of distant ones are going mid. The next is going to be shield is easily top as well. Like I said, a lot of these gem ones are really good for PvP because a lot of it is just catered to just fighting one person, and in PvP you do fight one person, so it's really freaking good for PvE. It has a lot of consistent combos. It has range, it has a gap closer that guard breaks, it has a grab moves. It basically just has everything you would want from an actual ability. So this is going to go top tier in my opinion, and for PvE is also going to go mid tier for me. All right, lastly we are going to have gun. Now gun is going to be top tier for both PvP and PvE in my opinion. I think the moves are really good. It has AoE skills that you could use to heat multiple targets, so that is a plus in my book for PvE, and also for PvP too. It's good. All right, it has some really nice consistent combos. As you can see, this is a combo extender right here. This move does a ton of damage. I PvP somebody that caught me in this, and boy, like it just drains your HP so much. Rifle is definitely one of the good ones. I don't really see a lot of people use rifle. Y'all should definitely cop rifle. It's actually freaking good. All right, so going into the Infernals, we are going to start with Doomclaw. Now Doomclaw is just going to go mid tier in my opinion for both PvP and PvE. A lot of the moves do have windups, and it doesn't have that much AoE skills, and it doesn't have moves that are going to be able to hit multiple targets. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of people use Doomclaw. Now is it bad? No, it's not bad. I generally don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's as good as the ones I am going to put on the top. So Doomclaw is going to go mid tier in my opinion. Now Greatsword is still good even after the patch. I'm gonna put the patch notes right here. They did a lot of crazy patches on this, but I still think Greatsword is still good. It still has its guard breaks. These two moves still go into each other. They probably added a little bit more wind up into some of the skills and stuff like that, but I still think it's really good. Now I'm not gonna put this as the top as the best because it's not as good as it used to be, but it's still definitely one of the top ones. And for PvE too, as you can see, this move you can definitely tell that it can't hit multiple targets, and plus it has iframes. Like, it's so good. They can't hit you when you're using this, so you can just use this to do a lot of DPS on the NPCs. I forgot to say it, Greatsword still has one of the best DPS in Infernal, so Greatsword is definitely top tier for both PvP and PvE. All right, the next we have Oni is going to go mid tier for me too. Does have some great skills that you can use to combo. I've seen people use Oni and they absolutely cook, but I generally don't think it's as skills. That's one I'm gonna put on top. It's good to use. You can definitely use this, but it's gonna go mid tier in my opinion. For PvE 2 is also gonna go mid tier. As you can see, it really doesn't have a lot of AoE moves or moves that you can use to hit multiple targets, and it doesn't have ranged attacks too, so it's gonna go mid tier for me. Again, for Infernals, I've not really played Infernal, but this is just based off my experience with PvP. But if you're an Infernal and if just tell me in the comments down below what you think this should be in the skill tree. Next is gonna be Summoner. Now boy, I cannot explain how annoying it is to PvP people with Summoner. Summoners are like those Quincy's in Type Soul that literally don't even do any close range combat. They just stay far away and spam range moves. That's basically the way Summoner players are. Like, they're just so weird. They play so weird. They just send all this the puppets and stuff like that to just hit you, and then they just stay away. It's really annoying. Summoner is good. All right, it has some really good nice AoE moves that you can use to hit multiple targets. All right, it's good for PvP. It's one of the top ones for sure. I'm probably gonna say that this is probably the best right now for Infernals since they patched Greatsword, but I still think Greatsword is good though. But Summoner is one of the top ones for sure. The next and last is going to be Scythe. Now Scythe is also good. I'm gonna put this at the top. as well. It has some really nice skills. It has this teleportation skill. I think this is blockable, but if you land it, it can be a really good combo starter. This skill is also really good. It guard breaks. All right. This skill right here too does a lot of DPS. It's really good for PvP and PvE as well. As you can see, it has a lot of AoE that you can use to hit multiple targets and stuff like that. And it has this gap closer too that also guard breaks. So Scythe is gonna go one of the top tiers for me. All right, it has some really good consistent combos as well. So Scythe is gonna go top tier for both PvP and PvE in my opinion. All right, so that's it for the Infernals. Let's go into the Gen 2s. So for the Gen 2s, looking at Charon first, I think Charon is just gonna go top tier for me for PvP. I still think Charon is very good. And the patch notes, they really didn't change much. They just nerfed some stuff and buffed some abilities. But the major significance you're gonna see is that the energy cost and the fire cost for Charon has increased. So I'm guessing that's the way of balancing Charon. But Charon is still top tier. It's still really good. It has really consistent combos that you can do. And for PvE, Charon is also pretty good as well. It has some really nice AoE skills. It has some range skills. Now, the NPCs will still be able to dodge a bunch of your abilities because, as you can see, the NPCs just take advantage of every single opportunity. The NPCs are cracked in this game, but I still think Charon is good. Alright, so the next is going to be Liberation Fist. Now, Liberation Fist, I think this is going to be mid-tier for PvP. Honestly, the abilities, it has way too many knockbacks in my opinion, and something that has too many knockbacks is going to be very inconsistent when it comes to PvP. Now, it is good at about any means. I don't think it's bad. It does do some really good damage. I PvP'd somebody that used Liberation Fist, but it's not just consistent with combos. In this game, you need to have abilities. You want abilities that are consistent with combos so you can just do a good amount of damage every single time. So it's just gonna go mid tier for me. And for PvE 2 is also gonna be mid tier in my opinion. It does have one range move which is really good, and I think it guard breaks too. Aside of that, it doesn't really have any other one that's good for PvE. But if you're boss grinding, it could be useful when you're boss grinding and stuff like that, but it's just gonna go mid tier for me for PvE. All right, next is going to be Sickles. Now Sickles is gonna go top tier. Honestly, I think Sickles is really good. I saw somebody say that Sickles is B tier or something like that, but honestly I think Sickles is probably one of the best in the game, right beside Charon. You know what I'm saying? It has really good moves for consistent combos. Sickle Toss is a combo extender. Spinning Sickle is also a combo extender as well. Air Sickles is a combo extender. I think this air circles puts you too high in the air. I don't know, but you could definitely use this as a combo extender as well. It's not true though, but you could definitely use it as a combo extender. But Sickles is very it has really good consistent combos, and you can make a really good build with it. For PvE, honestly, I'm just gonna put this mid tier. I don't think Sickles is really good for PvE in my opinion. You can use it for PvE, but I don't think it's that good for PvE. All right, next is going to be Sputter and Flare. Now Sputter and Flare is just easily gonna go mid tier in my opinion. I don't even want to pick this up. I genuinely don't want to pick this up because none of the moves look good in my opinion. If you use Sputter and Flare, tell me what tier you think it should. It be top or should it be in the mid tiers? But for me, I think Sputter and Flare is going to be mid tier. I don't really see a lot of people use this, and I think it doesn't have consistent combos in my opinion. I'm looking at the moves right now. I think a lot of the moves can be evaded. For PvE 2, I think this is also gonna just go mid tier for me. The NPCs are gonna dodge every single thing, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these things, they don't even look that fast. It looks like something that has to go up and then go down like that. That's just bad. That's really bad for PvE. NPCs are gonna dodge it, they're gonna block it. This one might be good, so you just dash forward and hit the NPC, but it's only for fighting one person. You can't use it to fight multiple NPCs. So this is just gonna go mid tier for me. Next is going to be Gun. Now Gun is going to go mid tier. Honestly, I don't think Gun is that good. A lot of people have PvP with Gun, they usually do not cook. I don't know if it's because they're terrible at the game or maybe the ability is just terrible, but Gun is gonna go mid tier for me. The only good thing I could say about Gun is that it just has crazy range, and that range is gonna be very good for PvE. For example, the M1s right here, you see the M1s, it looks like, I'm gonna pull up a clip if I can of somebody using gun in PvP, and they just like stayed hella far and was just spamming the gun from hella far. So gun has crazy range. If you want to fight bosses with it, you could just run away and just spam your gun, and you should be able to do a good amount of damage. So gun is gonna go top tier for PvE, and for PvP is just gonna go mid for me. All right. Next is gonna be dual crossblades. Now dual crossblades, I definitely think is top tier for PvP and PvE. This alongside with Shadow, I think dual crossblades is really good. It has some really nice range abilities. This move is good for PvE. All right, even though it is blockable, the NPCs will be able to block it, but half the times they're not able to block it. If you use it when the NPCs are running towards you, sometimes they don't block it. It's like this NPC, sometimes they're stupid and sometimes they're just smart for no reason. They're annoying. All right, but for PvE, it's gonna go top tier. For PvP 2 is also gonna be top tier. I feel like people should try do crossblades. It has some really nice consistent combos. The skills have really consistent combos, so y'all should definitely check it out. All right, and lastly is going to be Ice. Now Ice is gonna go mid tier for me. A lot of people have PvP with Ice. They usually just don't do good. It does have some good combos. It has some good consistent combos, but a lot of the moves are easy to dodge or just easy to get out of, so it's not very consistent in my opinion. For PvE though, I think it's going to be up there for sure. It has some nice AoE skills that you can use to hit multiple targets, even though it does have a wind up and the NPCs can dodge it. If you know what you're doing, you'll be able to use this in PvE. All right, the only downside to it is that it doesn't have any range. Oh wait, no, it does. Sorry, I forgot. This move here is a range attack, so you could definitely use this for spamming bosses and stuff like that. But that's gonna do it for the Gen 2s. Let's head on into the Gen 3s. Alright, yo, so for the Gen 3s, the first is going to be Lightning. Now Lightning is easily going to be top tier for me for PvP. Alright, it has some really nice skills, and the skills are very consistent with combos. You could use this skill right here into the Lightning Barrage, this move right here, and into the Lightning Rod. That is a nice true combo. And of course you have this really nice guard break that auto executes too. So Lightning is definitely going to be up there in my opinion. This orb too is also really nice. I think in the patch notes they removed the stun effect for the orbs, but if you're M1ing and using the orbs, I don't think the stun effect is gonna matter because you're M1ing and your M1s do stuns. I think PvE is also gonna go top tier for me. The only problem with it is that the NPCs are just able to block and dodge every single skill, but if you land it, you are going to do good for PvE. Now if you're on console, I would not recommend Lightning, mainly because a lot of the moves are hard to hit with the controller keybinds right now. So I just wanted to just put that out there as a tip or note. The next is going to be Dragon. Now Dragon is going to go top tier for me for PvP. The combos you can do with Dragon is just insane. Dragon is just easily top for me. This move right here does crazy amount of damage. This move too does a ton of damage. The only downside to this move is that it has this crazy long wind up with the grab, so it is kind of easy to dodge, but when you get it, it's really good and does a ton of damage. This move right here has like a crazy hitbox, which is insane in my opinion. You should not be able to hit somebody with this move from a mid-range location, you know. So Dragon is gonna go top for PvP. All right, for PvE 2 is also gonna go top in my opinion. It has some range attack, it has AoE, it has good guard breaks, it has iframe skills too. This skill right here is iframe. It's really nice, so y'all should definitely cop Dragon for sure. It's top. Next is going to be Voltage Nova. Now Voltage Nova is just going to go mid for both PvE and PvP. For PvE, this is probably one of the most annoying abilities to use in this game for PvE. Alright, the NPCs will block and dodge everything, and plus the only AoE skill that has is this one, and the crazy part is that it's blockable and the NPCs will block every single one of that thing. So having only this as your only AoE and range attack is kind of annoying. Alright, the rest of the skills are all close ranges, basically like a Gen 1 but for Gen 3, so I would not recommend it. And also for PvP 2 is also pretty mid in my opinion, so it's just gonna go mid for me. I really do not like Voltage Nova like that, and there's a reason why you don't see a lot of people run it. Alright, sure, the next is gonna be Sakura. Now Sakura is easily gonna go top for PvE. This thing is so good for grinding NPCs. It has this really nice move that you could use to hit multiple targets. You guys know when you PvP, you're gonna fight a lot of multiple targets every single time, and when you're fighting them is really annoying. This ability makes it so easy to do. All right, And then you have this tree right here, which is also really good for fighting multiple targets. All right, you could just use this and just chain grab them and then run away, refill your health, and come back. I don't know if it works on bosses though, but I did know that this is really good for PvE. Now for PvP though, I'm gonna put this in mid tier. All right, even though I think Sakura is good, is probably better than a lot of the abilities. I'm gonna put in a mid tier, but I don't think it's as good as the good ones. The good ones are just the ones that you're just gonna enjoy the most, that is gonna give you the most damage and just give you the best combos. So Sakura is just gonna go mid tier for me, just because I don't think it's as good as the top ones. The next is going to be Grand Hands. Now Grand Hands is also another one that is good for PvE. This move right here does a ton of damage. That's if the NPCs don't block it, but half the time the NPCs really do not block it. Like I said, sometimes these NPCs, they act smart and sometimes they're dumb as hell. So this move does crazy amount of damage. It's good for boss grinding too. I used to use Grand Hands. If you're on console, you should definitely try Grand Hands out for PvE and stuff like that. For PvP though, it's not gonna be one of the top ones. It has a lot of windups. A lot of the skills are easy to dodge. If you use it, you're gonna get cooked. I think some of the skills too, if the person is hella close to you, it's not gonna land as well. And they also dropped some patches too on Grand Tantrum as well. So Grand Hands is just gonna go mid tier for PvP in my opinion. Now Arthur is gonna go mid for both PvE and PvP. I hate to put this in mid, but that's just the way it is. The devs did not cook with Arthur at all. Now, if you are skilled in PvP, you will definitely be able to use Arthur very well in PvP. But if you're not skilled, do not pick up Arthur. That's all I'm going to say. And just for that reason is why it's going to go mid tier, because Arthur is only for the skilled. It's only for the people who are sweats. All right. If you pick up Arthur and you're not good at the game, you're going to get cooked. All the people that I've played that are rookies in the game, I've played some people that really did not know how to PvP well, and I usually cook them with Arthur. This is just speaking based off experience right here. So Arthur is gonna go mid tier for PvP. The combos are not very consistent, but you can make a good build with it, but I don't think the ability skills are consistent with combos. And for PvE too, Arthur is one of the most annoying abilities to use for PvE. It's like this move was not made to fight any NPCs in this game, because the NPCs will dodge, block, and evade every single ability you have in your kit. If you don't believe me, just go in the game and try Excalibur out and PvE with it, and you will immediately hate it. I've also talked to some people in the Discord, and they said Excalibur, they did some really nasty work with Excalibur for PvE. Alright, so for Deva's Footprint, I'm just gonna put this mid for both PvP and PvE. Alright, I think the moves are nice. The fact that it has 3 block breakers or 4 block breakers in its kit, it's actually pretty good, but I don't think it's tops for both PvE and PvP. For PvE, a lot of the skills don't have much range. All right, the only one I would say is good for PvE in the skill kit is this move right here. This one is good for hitting multiple targets, and plus it's also good for evading enemies, like because if you fly up, the enemies can't hit you when you're on top. So this is the only move that's good for PvE, but the rest is not just that good for me, in my opinion. For PvP too, I don't think it's tops. It's not bad, but it's not tops for sure. So Devil's Footprint is just gonna go mid for both PvE and PvP. Next is gonna be Explosive Hands. Now Explosive Hand is also gonna be mid for both PvP and PvE. All right, it is good for doing good combos. If you PvP with it, you can do some good moves, but I don't think it's that good to be in the top tier. All right, I don't think the combos are very consistent with Explosive Hands. It has some nice skills, but the combos are not just that consistent in my opinion. And for PvE, not much range, saying a lot of the skills require you to be hella close. You might find some success using it in boss grinding, but it's really annoying to use in PvE. All right, so I'm just gonna put it mid. For next is gonna be Joker. Now Joker is gonna go tops for both PvE and PvP. All right, for PvE, it has a lot of range. As you can see, Joker has crazy range, and he has this move right here that does crazy amounts of damage. All right, it is blockable, but the thing that makes it good is that you basically teleport. All right, so it's good that it's blockable, because if this thing guard broke, it would be annoying. All right, it has some really nice skills. It has some guard breaks too. It has a nice evasive too, so when you're fighting NPCs and you just want to take a breather, all right, from the bosses combos, you can definitely use the evasive. And also for PvP too, it has some really nice consistent combos. I think Joker is one of the abilities that has an actual one-shot combo. Yes, bro. If you play against somebody with Joker, for those who PvP, they know what I'm talking about, right? Joker is still one of the abilities that does crazy damage, and it's the only one I think that has a one-shot combo in my opinion. All right, next is gonna be Ashe. Ashe is gonna go in mid-tier for both PvP and PvE. Ashe is just, it's mad. The combos are not consistent in my opinion. There's a reason why you don't see anybody use it. You're probably gonna see people use it, but when you go into ranked PvP, nobody uses this. I've not seen anybody that uses Ashe, and the people that do use Ashe that I've seen in PvP, they were just easy to beat, bro. Not that the Ashe is bad, and not that you can't do work with it and make a good build with it. It's just that the combos are not consistent. It's also really annoying to use in PvE. When I use this thing to grind, it was a headache. It's just like Arthur, bro. They just made the ability specifically not to be used for PvE. And lastly is going to be Ogun. Now Ogun is gonna go tops for both PvE and PvP, bro. Ogun has everything you would want from an ability: damage, range, block breakers, gap closers, variants. The only ability in this game that has an air variant, bro, which is really nice, and it guard breaks too. It's also a really good combo extender as well. You have this one that's also good, and it auto tracks W's in my opinion with Ogun. Ogun is one of the ones that you can do some crazy combos with as well. Does a lot of damage. I think the reason why it does a lot of damage is because it procs burn. So that's one of the perks of using Ogun. And plus you also get this nice mode that basically buffs your energy and your damage. So Ogun is definitely one of the top ones for sure for both PvE and PvP in my opinion. Y'all should definitely cop it. All right. And then to the Gen 5s, I'm gonna just leave this one for you guys because I don't have any information on Benimaru. I've not used Benimaru myself. I've seen some people cook with Benimaru, and I've seen some people that are just absolutely not that good with Benimaru. All right, and I do know from the patch notes that they nerfed the Benimaru a lot. Benimaru has probably one of the longest patch notes in the patch. You guys just tell me what you tier you think it should be. Honestly, I think Benimaru is still top. It is a Gen 5, so it definitely should be top. But I feel like some of you are probably gonna put it in mid tier, but I think it should be top. For PvE, I also think it should be top as well. Benimaru is really good for PvE. It has some really nice range attacks that you can spam. Just like Ogun, it has this booms that you could, usually just use like a projectile or something like that. It's very good for PvE. Anything that has range is good for PvE in my opinion. And also it has AoE skills as well. So Benimaru is going to go tops for both PvP and PvE in my opinion. Alright, so that's going to do it for the tier list video. If you liked the video, please subscribe, turn on post notifications. Again, this is just my opinion. I know some of you are gonna have some other ideas of what tiers they should be and what tiers should not be at, but like I said in the intro, every ability can be used. You just have to make a good build for it, all right, and just have the skill to be able to use it properly. So that's gonna do it. I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Peace.